Hello, Mark Larson here for the Handyman for Your Life podcast. Today I want to welcome Mark McGarry from Ireland. So how are you doing today, Mark?
Good, man. It's about 6 p.m. here.
Okay.
So just done my day of work.
Okay.
Done some running, got the dog out for a walk, so just kind of chilling out now at the moment.
Okay. So how far did you run today?
Today was 10 kilometers, so got out about 3 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
If I wasn't working today, obviously I would have went for a longer one earlier in the day, but it is what it is, right?
It is. So you're from Ireland. Where do you live in Ireland?
So it's a place called County Cork. So it's actually the biggest county in Ireland. It's at the very south of the country. A small little town called Monkstown. It's literally a fishing village. You can walk from one point to the next on the main street in like 20 minutes. It's so small. There's about 1,500 to 2,000 people. So
nice.
Pretty much everybody knows each other.
Yeah, and, small town.
Yes, right on the water. It's called Monkstown Bay. It's actually the second deepest natural port in the world behind Sydney, which is a bit of a fun fact. And we actually call it the People's Republic of Ireland.
Okay.
So as I'm sure your listeners will know, Dublin is the capital of Ireland, but we're actually called the Rebel County. Down here is what we call ourselves. So we call ourselves the People's Republic of Ireland. We're People's Republic of Cork is actually what we say.
Okay.
But we're called the Rebel County because back in British occupation, when Ireland was fighting for independence, we had the most we had the most what would you call it, battles with the British Army in Cork. That's why it's called the Rebel County. So
that's cool. Didn't know that.
That's pretty much it. So that's where I live.
Okay.
Been here all my life.
Okay. Yeah. And you're here your whole life. Do you family close by or siblings or?
So I have 6 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay.
I'm kind of the middle child.
So, is that a good thing?
I was kind of middle child syndrome in a way, but pretty big family. We all kind of live, bar 2 of us. One brother lives in Paris and one sister lives in the UK. But besides that, we all live within, I would say, about a 15-minute drive of each other.
Nice.
So, which you find is quite common here in Ireland. Small little towns everywhere, and a lot of kind of people's families kind of stay in around the area. And there's maybe a couple of small kind of satellite towns next to each other. But that's it.
Okay. So, what else do you do in that? You said you were working today. What else? What were you doing today working?
So I actually work in a local grocery store.
Okay.
I don't know, they're not well known in the States. They're called Aldi.
Oh yeah, I know them.
They're like Scandinavian. They're pretty much like Europe's, I guess, Kmart or Walmart, like a discount shopping store.
But that is Scandinavian. I did not know that because we have some of those in Nebraska even. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you like to do in your free time? You evidently like to run.
So basically, as you know, I do triathlon, which is swimming, biking, and running. I used to play a bit of tennis. I'm actually going to get back into tennis. I'm
awesome.
Starting to practice tennis again lately. But I used to play a lot of tennis when I was a kid.
Okay.
I used to do a lot of rowing. And kind of a lot of soccer.
Okay.
Football, as we call it over here, but as you guys call it, soccer.
Yeah.
But I always I found out along the way I'm a bit of an introvert, right? So I spend a lot of kind of time on my own. So when I found kind of running first, and then I found triathlon, it was actually ideal for me. That's what I kind of gravitated to, because you spend like hours out there on your own in your own thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of why I gravitated towards triathlon and running. It was actually later in life, in my mid-20s, when I started to take that up.
Cool.
And I've been at it for the last 40, I guess, kind of 12, 13 years.
Okay.
I've been doing that. Yeah.
Well, you do stuff with your bike too, don't you? You ride your bike and stuff. I see on Facebook. It looks like you.
Yeah. So I actually have two bikes. So one is just a pure road cycling bike, and one is like a triathlon specific bike. It's called like a time trial bike. So they're obviously like built for different type of I guess. With road cycling, you're kind of out there longer.
Right.
You're doing more kind of hills and stuff, so it needs to be more sturdy. With the time trial bike or triathlon bike, it's pure speed, right? So you're when you're racing, you're basically putting the pedal to the metal.
Makes sense.
So that's why I guess the geometry, I guess you can say, of the bikes would be of a different kind of different type. So.
Okay, cool. So do you have any competitions coming up on anything like that? Or?
At the moment, no. I did a couple earlier on in the year. They're called duathlons, but I haven't been doing swimming as much in the last couple of years, just because due to COVID, a lot of this like swimming pools were shut down for like a couple of years.
Yeah.
And in
tough.
Ireland, we're not exactly living in somewhere like Los Angeles, right? So
true.
Really, we can only practice swimming outside. Probably really in the summer months, late summer. You might get away with it in the fall, but kind of summer. You got about a 3-month period when you're swimming outside. Without actually freezing to death, right? So.
Yeah, I hear you. That sounds like Nebraska a little bit too. So it's more refreshing at certain times of year. So do you get any snow, or what is your weather like there then?
So we don't get snow like down in Cork. Very rarely. I'm 40 now, so I can only remember, I guess, 3 or 4 times ever seen snow.
Wow.
Where I live,
my kind of place.
Up the country. Up the country, like say maybe Dublin, and if you go north towards say what's called Donegal, kind of the Midlands and stuff like that, they do get quite a bit of snow because they're close to Scotland. But we have what's called the Gulf Stream current here, which actually goes past where I live. So we have a very kind of cool climate. So if we do ever get snow, it's sleet. We do get sleet in the winter, which is a nice.
Yeah, that's close enough. That's at least as bad as snow. So, no. So okay. So do you like to travel? Have you traveled over Europe or other parts of the world?
Yeah. So we're lucky here because like Europe is on my doorstep, so we can hop on a plane, and be in Spain, be in France, be in Italy within 2 or 3 hours. UK and stuff like that. So I as a kid used to holiday in Europe quite a lot. Spain, Portugal, went to Italy and stuff like that. Kind of Switzerland.
Oh, cool.
But then, like in my 20s, like what we do in Ireland here is a lot of people will move to the UK for like a few years, or they move to Australia to go and work.
Oh, really?
And they'll like save up enough money so they can buy a house, and then they move back to Ireland. Because the housing market here is quite expensive.
Oh, really? Okay.
So they buy a house in Ireland, and from what they make in their 3 or 4 years abroad in Australia.
Wow.
A few of my brothers have done that actually, but I was always kind of drawn to the States since I was a kid. I always loved like American culture, American music. I was listening to like. When I was maybe 10 years of age, I was listening like to The Doors and say stuff like Metallica,
there you go.
Roses, all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I was massively influenced by American. My favorite TV show was Seinfeld.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
So literally with all my friends, when I was going to like say what we call secondary school, was what you call high school over there.
Okay.
So when I was going to high school or secondary school as we call it, I was like listening to like 70s American music and 60s American music while they were all listening to like the British bands of the time in the 90s and stuff.
Right.
So I was, as I said, I was always drawn to American culture. So I spent when I was able to actually, when I was about maybe 20, I started going to the States. First on a student visa for like 3 months, like a working visa.
Nice.
That was like Hyannis. I spent like 3 months there. But then, like down the years, I started to visit, like say, San Francisco,
very nice.
Los Angeles for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. And then I started like road trips through the States for like maybe 3 or 4 months at a time.
Okay.
So pretty much almost every year in my 20s and into my early 30s, I was spending 3 or 4 months every year in America. Just
that would have been
traveling
so awesome.
all over the country. Haven't been back since like 2017, but I'm hoping to get back.
Well, you're due.
Nebraska maybe, but
so coming to
hoping to get back. Yeah, hoping back in a few years.
Coming to Nebraska the next time.
Yeah, I'm going to get some Nebraska steaks.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Nothing better. Yeah. So corn fed and all that good stuff. So and there are food. We get a lot of corn and cattle. That's for sure. So, but
we're all grass fed over here.
Yeah.
You probably heard of Kerry Gold butter.
Actually, we've got some in our refrigerator. Yes. So
yeah, man, it's like I'm about maybe it's their headquarters. It's in a place called Dingle. In Kerry. So it's about a 3-hour drive for me. So been up there many times.
It's really good butter, especially compared to what we normally get in the United States. It's so much
salty stuff.
Yeah, it's just it's good stuff. So so do you have any pets? So
I have a dog. He's actually behind me here. So if he tends to go a bit crazy sometimes, barking out the window. So he might have to be let out there in a while. Hopefully not. I think he's relaxed. It's like chilling here. So but so I've always had dogs.
Just a second.
You're good, man. Don't worry.
I don't know. I shut that down. So sorry about that.
We're all good. So I've always had dogs through my life. But this guy, Leo, I've had him probably about, I think he must be about 6 now. Not too sure because I actually found him as a puppy on the side of a road.
Oh, wow.
I think he was about maybe 3, vet said he was about 3 months, 3 months at the time. So he should be about 6.5 now. It's a long story. You know the story, but I try and keep it as short as I can. As I said, we found him on the side of a road, like in an industrial estate, a little puppy. Could literally hold him in my hand. He was that small, but he'd his big, long legs, so we knew he was going to be
right.
I think he's like a Labrador and Burmese mountain dog mix,
but
I'd never be too sure. So he's very, very big and hairy and fluffy. So I guess probably about 3 months after that, maybe when he was 6 months old, he was hit by a car. He was paraplegic.
Wow.
Broke his spine. Basically, his back legs, where he was like a millimeter away from his spinal cord severing.
Boy.
So he was really literally that close to being completely paralyzed. But took a few years and a lot of money.
Yeah, I bet that's true too.
Couple of operations and a lot of physiotherapy and hydrotherapy. I'm actually I wouldn't say I'm a qualified physiotherapist, but I have a qualification of sorts.
Really?
A weekend course, yeah. So I actually was able to do his physiotherapy at home, so that cut down on bills.
Yeah, I bet that helped a lot.
So spent about 2.5 years rehabbing him back. And basically it was his age saved him, right? He was still growing, basically.
I can see that.
So if he was an older dog, he'd be kind of screwed, but his age saved him. So took about 2.5 years to rehab him back from paraplegic to walking, running. Has a limp and everything, but he's healthy. But funny story. He's a big monster now, right? He's 6 as well. But when he goes to pee, obviously he never learned how to pee. Leg up in there.
Right.
So he pees like a puppy. So like he crouches down like that onto all fours and just pees out in front of him.
Well, I guess that works.
So it's quite funny watching it. Some people think he's a female dog when they see him doing that. But
maybe could he lift his leg, or is that still part of the?
No, he just can't. He probably could, it's just his brain just
didn't ever learn that. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know his name's Leo. So what is some favorite rainy day, foggy, whatever weather things to do at home that you guys like to do?
Rainy or foggy day.
Yeah, just you're stuck at home. It's kind of one of those days.
Interesting. But going back to sports, I love the heat. It's actually about 18 degrees now, which will be, I guess, Celsius, which will be very hot for us. So I'm guessing that's probably in the 30s, maybe 40s, but not in the 40s, maybe in the 50s, maybe in Fahrenheit. I don't know. So it's about 18 Celsius. But if it was foggy, misty rain, I'd go for a run, basically.
Even then?
In the misty rain. Obviously, if it was like torrential downpour, I wouldn't. I tend to stay indoors when it's kind of even misty rain. I don't really like it.
Okay, so getting into what you're doing today and online and stuff. So what is it exactly you're doing? And what is it? Give us a little background on that.
Cool. So, quick background. So when before I started doing online marketing, back when I was doing the physiotherapy stuff, I was working on a local soccer team, and I was after training sessions, and a rep from a multi-level marketing company, like a nutrition company, kind of walked in. He saw me kind of working on him, and he saw I had the triathlon kind of t-shirt on me. So I got talking to him, and I said, look, this could be good kind of nutrition product for you, for your training. Do you want to give it a go? So he gave me some samples, took the samples. They were great. So then I said, look, I could maybe try and use this as a side business to the physiotherapy stuff. And because I'm into, triathlon and stuff like that, I thought it could kind of work well with that. Very quickly, that wasn't the case.
Okay.
Because there's friends and family and stuff, they don't really kind of buy off you.
I hear you.
Probably know.
I've tried that before too.
So I done okay with it. I mean, I was selling stuff, but I was breaking even. But I would because I was buying somebody's stock, and I was going to hotel meetings and all that kind of stuff. It kind of that ate into my profits, and I was kind of losing money. Signed up a small team, but I found out it wasn't really kind of working with me. I guess maybe my introverted personality maybe had something to do with it.
Could be.
After a year or so, I kind of stopped that, and it was when I was kind of thinking of doing something else. I met a woman from what's called an affiliate marketing company. But I say one thing about multi-level marketing. Now, while it didn't work out for me, it kind of showed me there was a better, a different kind of way to make money from your 9 to 5, right?
Right.
So I kind of, when I got involved with that, that was like a whole new learning curve.
I bet.
Within maybe within a couple of months, I started making some sales online through kind of Facebook primarily. But I was kind of buying what's called, I won't go into too in depth. I was kind of buying what's called solo ads. You're kind of basically paying for email subscribers.
Right.
So basically, anyway, I kind of burned through that as well. I did okay with that as well, but it was around that time when my dog got injured. Leo got injured, so I had to stop that. I put everything on pause, basically. So fast forward about 2.5 years later, when he got better, I started going back into it. But I left the model I was doing behind. It's basically, without going into too much detail, it's called a done for you model. Well, I left that behind. So then I started getting involved in the what's called lower ticket stuff. Where you're promoting, say, $100 products. $200 products, just by building relationships on social media primarily, talking to people, finding out the problems, finding out what kind of what they want to do, where they what they want to, what their kind of their goals are and stuff, and suggesting a solution to that, right? Done pretty good with the lower ticket stuff.
Awesome.
I was, I was making $400-$500 weeks.
Awesome, really good.
Maybe $1,000 months, whatever. So then I said, look, I think I'm ready for kind of to go into what's called higher ticket, which would be selling a higher priced product, which would be like $1,000 or more.
Okay.
And that kind of, and then more, and I kind of learn more around the side of like kind of sales and marketing, because eventually I wanted to go on and create my own product.
Sure.
Because when you're an affiliate for someone, you can sell their product for X,
right?
But you've no control over the pricing. You've no control over,
very true,
anything after that.
Right.
So
right.
I started kind of doing my own series of masterclasses.
Oh, really?
So
okay,
basically,
cool.
just putting on like an hour tutorial on something. So, say if you got good at writing, content or something like that, find out if people want to get better at writing content, writing stories about themselves and stuff like that, and then like building a promotion around that, and then talk to people and getting them into the masterclass.
Okay.
So I done 3 of them. I could have sold them out.
Awesome. It's always great.
And still doing a small bit of affiliate stuff on the side as well. But and then now I'm currently kind of working on doing my own offer, which is going to be what will be the word. An evolution, I guess, of those masterclasses, for want of a better word. So that's kind of where I am.
Okay, and you're the CEO and owner of Story Attraction Masters, is that right?
So Story Attraction Masters, that's basically that's my Facebook group, and that's kind of what the whole, as what we call like an ecosystem. Is going to be around. So like an ecosystem, you'd have various products at various price points, based on one thing. So it's like a cycle. Okay. So like they might start off with like say a masterclass, which would be like $100. Then they might go into like maybe a 3-month course. Okay. Kind of working 1-to-1 with me, where we work better on the person actually kind of telling stories about themselves and getting, I guess, getting their name out there based on writing stories about themselves and building a brand for themselves and building their authority based on writing stories that's going to actually resonate with the people that are reading them.
Cool. So you're doing, in my notes it says you're doing your offer around storytelling. So is that what you kind of just, that's kind of what you're just doing there. So what actually is, what is your goal for this? I know probably what your goal is, but long term, what would you like to see with all this business you've got going right now? Yeah.
So as I said, basically the whole premise around why I kind of started with the storytelling is because you look online and you see a lot of people out there. They're just like writing kind of, very kind of, I guess, vanilla stuff. They're writing things that, they're just, that you kind of scroll past, right? And that you just never really take any notice of.
Right.
But that's because they're not actually, coming from a place where they can tell their own story. Yep. And if they told their own story about, they were struggling with something in the past, and they were for X amount of time, and they found a solution to that, which gave them a big, massive breakthrough. And now they want to show others how to do the same. Okay. And it's how to craft, and the way people will resonate with that the most is actually by stories, right? That they can actually find in common with what you're saying. True. Because people have been telling stories for years and years, right? It's like part of human DNA.
It is.
It's in our genes, right? Yeah. Civilizations were built on telling stories. Yep. Back in the caveman, the Neanderthals, right? They were writing, they're carving
on the walls,
they're carving pictures on the walls, telling stories, right? So it's an intuitive thing, right? It's how we built our civilizations, right? And that's what people resonate with. So if you can actually can craft a compelling story that's going to resonate with someone and going to hit them kind of hard, kind of, I guess, subconsciously, or hit them hard kind of viscerally.
Exactly.
And that's what will actually help you build your tribe, as we say, right? Or build your authority. Yes. And that's what I, in the end, like, business-wise, that would be the goal, is to, build up, like, build up a following, build up a business around showing people how they can do that.
Cool.
And actually, separate themselves from like the 90% of the
Yes. So you do the master classes and you work one-on-one with people also as a coach, like, is that, did I get that right?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Like you see a lot of people out there who are like coaching and stuff, and they're just touching on the surface, right? They might say, show you how to, I don't know, get a Facebook cover.
Sure, yeah. Like you say, just touching the surface, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or they might give you a script or something when you're talking to someone which doesn't work, right? Yep. So, and a lot of people, what I'm noticing, there's a lot of people out there who are just getting tired, they're getting jaded, they're getting frustrated.
Very much.
They're just going through the mill, learning the same stuff that people were teaching like 3 years ago. And they end up quitting, unfortunately. But if they could just learn how to actually, attract people with by basically, being attracted, without sounding cheesy, being like an attractive person.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And knowing that, like, you're actually going to show them a skill that they can take for the rest of their life, and implement that into any area, not just like online marketing, right? They can implement into
pretty much.
Right, if they want to sell like books, or if they want to do podcasts.
Exactly.
Whatever,
yeah, there you go.
It's all about it's all about telling stories, right? That's going to hit home with people.
Okay.
And
so
that's basically my if you want to call it, for want of a better word again, in inverted commas, my
okay. So do you do a podcast? I never asked you that.
I don't. I do interviews with people in my Facebook group. I haven't done one in about a year, I guess, man. But I interview guys who were kind of who make it was called the six figure earners interview series, I think it was called. I'm hazy on the name because I haven't done one in a while. Yeah, but like I have a bunch of interviews on my Facebook group, so I must start doing them again. But,
awesome. Okay, that's very awesome. So, so if somebody was just starting out online, what would be some good advice you would give to them, knowing what we kind of both know? What would you say with somebody that's a newbie that's just starting out?
That's a great question. First, I guess, kind of decide what you want.
Okay.
No, I know that's like it's a very broad answer, but I mean, a lot of people will kind of get in. They see the hype, they see the BS, the hypey post, right? There's a lot of people out there who can write great words that'll get you drawn in to buy something. Right? We've all been there, man. You know
I know it.
As much as well as I do, right?
Definitely do.
So there's a lot of hype and BS out there, right?
Definitely.
And the thing is, a lot of these people know that fast, easy, shiny, right? Yep. Human nature, right? It's not our fault. It's our brain, right? It's like thousands of years of evolution, right?
Exactly.
That we're fighting against, right?
Yeah.
We're like it's human nature. We're going to look for the fastest way and the easiest way to get to a desired outcome, right? So when you see all these like hypey BS like stuff out there, man, and unfortunately a lot of people get sucked in by that, and that's why there's such a high failure rate, is because people buy this thing. They were told by the person who like created it or sold it to them that just like I'm seeing now, like, make like $10,000 per month online without talking to anyone.
Yeah, I see that.
Without talking to anyone, without sending anyone any messages, without like selling a product even. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah.
the whole, like, right?
Oh, yeah.
And without doing calls or whatever it is.
You
right?
just...
And that's what appeals. Right?
That's what appeals every people. Day. Yes.
Because learning how to do calls is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Learning how to start messaging people and finding out, getting into conversation, finding out the problems, and all that kind of stuff is hard, right?
It is.
It's all hard,
especially
right?
when it's all new to you. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Rating content is hard at the start, right? And these people prey on that.
They do.
So they'll tell you like, oh, you can make $10,000 per month without having to do any cold, without having to go any cold outreach, without having to do any sales calls, and it's all.
It is. What? It's just all, just think about it. Thinking, and it's asking you to receive. Yeah. Doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah, exactly, man. So just get into this knowing. That at the start it's going to fuck you.
It does.
Excuse my French,
right? Yeah, exactly. It does. I can tell you that.
I'm Irish. I'm Irish, so I swear.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So, like, just when you get into this, if you're buying something for $50, if you're buying something for fucking $5,000, right? Whatever it is, it's going to be hard, right? Just embrace that, right? So, also, the other thing which I can't, I wouldn't really say I can't stand it, but it's a bit of a pet peeve is that people will say like, "What's your goal within the next year?" Or "What's your goal within the next 3 years?"
Yeah, I get that too.
Unfortunately, our brain isn't made to think 3 years.
It isn't,
right?
No, it isn't,
right? So I know Tony Robbins had a quote. I might butcher this now. I might mess it up, but people overestimate what they can do people overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they can do in like 6 months, whatever it is. Could be wrong.
No, I know that's right. I think that's right on. So I think that is definitely. I think that it is true.
Yeah,
very true. So
so. Like, unfortunately, if you start thinking, I want to be making, I want to be living in a villa in the south of Italy in 5 years' time, making $500,000 per year, your brain is not going to comprehend that.
No.
So you by thinking this big massive end goal, you're going to ignore, like, you're not going to kind of process the small daily steps.
Yeah, very true.
It takes to get there, right? And that actually was something that messed me up for a long time. I used to be thinking of like, I want to be making $10,000 in 12 months time. 12 months time would come, and I wasn't making a small percentage of that because I was thinking too far in the future, and I started procrastinating, and I started beating myself up. Because I wasn't making $1,000 a month. Like, I wasn't making $1,000 this month. I wasn't making $5,000 the next month, blah, blah, blah. And then I started procrastinating, and I started to, we start to procrastinate, and then within 1 day turns to 7. 7 days turns to 30 days. 30 days turns to 6 months.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've given up, right?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I was the same way. So yes.
Yeah, exactly, man. So obviously we need big goals. I'm not saying that. We need something big and scary to work towards the end. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't have this big massive goal at the end, but just don't put some emphasis on it, right?
Yeah, very important. Yeah.
Think about the small daily steps that's going to, get you in momentum. That's going to give you those small wins, because that's how our brain actually, that's how we get better, right? Is by these small daily wins, like brushing your teeth. It is, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right. So you want nice shiny white teeth.
Yep. You
do
in
6 months, right?
Yes.
But we don't brush our teeth in overnight. They're white, right? We brush our teeth twice a day, right?
Yep.
Yeah. We brush our teeth twice a day, every day, for months and months and months, and they go from yellow to white or whatever it is, right? So
it is.
As I said, have that goal, obviously, but just don't push yourself under so much pressure to get there, because 6 months, 12 months down the line, if you're not at that, you're going to self-sabotage, and it's a self-repeating cycle, right?
And then nothing gets accomplished then.
Yeah.
So, no, it's just...
Yeah, man. So, yeah, without a doubt, man. So, start with those small daily, like, whatever it is for you.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
if you're scared of writing posts on, or writing emails or whatever, if you're scared of sending messages to someone,
Right.
if you never sent a message to someone, just start with 2 messages, right?
Just
today.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
Just
right?
start.
Keep that up for a week. Next week, start sending 5 a day. Then next week, start sending 15 a day. And
it's
6 months will pass, and that's going to be a fear that you had on day one. That's now just a normal activity.
Yeah, and it seems so. It's like, what was I afraid of? It does. It does get to the point where it's like, why was I dreading this so much? But you got to start. That's for sure. And the starting is first.
It's like,
go ahead.
It's like it's like, it reminds me of when I started training for triathlon, right? I mean, I'm doing Ironman races now, right? But I've done a few of them. I've been doing them for the last 7 years. Like, when I started doing triathlon, like, the thought never crossed my mind once that I'm going to do an Ironman, right? I started doing smaller races that take, like an hour. The season after that, I went up in distance to 3-hour races. The season after that, I started doing 5-hour races. And within a few years, I was doing, these big, massive, half-day races, right? But it's
wow.
but from day one, I said I'm going to start doing triathlon. An Ironman was never in my mind, right? And that was a big scary goal.
I can
I was just be talking about, right? And instead, I concentrated on I'm going to do. When I started swimming, right? I could always swim, but not like in,
you need to do,
not like racing swimming, right? So I never swam more than 100 meters in a pool when I started swimming. So that was my goal. I'm just going to do 100 meters. I'm going to do 100 meters 3 times a week for the next month. I done that, and I said, look, it's time to let's try and do 300 meters. That was my goal for that month. I decided to I started doing every week, a few sessions a week of doing 200 meters, 250 meters. Until I hit 300 meters, and I was building up that mental muscle,
which is very important
of repetition, right? By putting in the reps, and and of course it just goes from there, right? But that but you get what I'm saying, right?
You do. You just start with you keep small steps and just keep on building on that. So,
exactly, that's exactly it. So yeah, and one last one. This is the one that, and look, still gets me. You get everybody. Again, it's human nature. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, right?
So, that is for sure.
That's a big reason too. People get in the game and they'll get started. They'll be going great for a few weeks. They might not be seeing any kind of on the surface anyway, any tangible results. So then they start looking at oh God, what's this guy? He started the same time as me, and now he's making X amount of money a month, and I'm not making any money. What why? And then you start looking at these people's stuff. How I made my first 20,000, and they're
exactly,
right?
Oh yeah,
and and you start comparing yourself,
you
right?
Do.
And you're saying how are they any better than me? We start at the same time. I'm doing the same stuff as this person, and they're not seeing any results. And they're day after quitting their job, day after buying their dream house, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So just know that you're running your own race.
Yeah, very
important. Again, another cheesy quote I'm gonna steal. Don't borrow. Don't compare your day 1 to someone else's day 100.
Right. Very, very
cliche.
It is.
Obviously,
it's very important.
But cliches usually tend to be.
They do.
That's
no. And that because if you do, it's like, well, I'm just going to give up because there's, and that's bad if you give up because you're comparing. So it's like we are on our own journey and path and everything else.
Exactly.
So, but
wrote it out.
Yeah. So anything else about your business that you'd like to touch on?
So I guess kind of really quickly, I run 100% through Facebook. I'm not on any other social media apps. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I'm on nothing but Facebook.
Okay.
And you can find me on my profile.
Okay.
And my Facebook group is in my profile as well. And as I say, I'm just kind of working on this new kind of program. It's going to be like a 3-month intensive program where it's like one-on-one coaching with me, where we sit down every week on Zoom, and private support, and we kind of go through kind of what you're putting out with it, the content you're rating, how you can improve it, how you can actually start to attract people to you by putting out stories that resonate with them.
Awesome.
And that's in the works at the moment. But if anyone was listening to this or interested, just feel free to contact me and we can have a chat about getting in early. I'll be doing early bird pricing. So
awesome. Okay. No, I will put that all in the show notes, how they can get a hold of you and everything. And but your group is Story Attraction Masters again. That's your Facebook group then. So.
Yeah, so let me look at my Facebook page. Story Attraction Masters.
Okay. So, and I mean, I don't know, put your email address in there too. Would that be all right with you? They can contact you that way?
Yeah. Okay. That'd be awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, so, well, if there's nothing else, thanks for joining me today, Mark. And I will put that on the show notes and hope to do a podcast with you again in the future. So, but on awesome. That, thank you and have a good day. And we'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Mark.